Hello everyone, happy morning to all. The believability of virtuality is oft superior to the unrealness of reality. With this quote, we are happy to be here to welcome you all for this live webinar on virtual and augmented reality application for management and healthcare. Oh, it is mainly organized by KITC First of all, we would like to put across our gratefulness to our management, principal, vice principal, deans and HODs of various departments for supporting us to conduct webinars and encouraging us to do better. And it's our KITC fifth live webinar session. A special thanks to all the participants registered for all the events. Now I welcome our Dean, KIT CIII, Dr. K. Mahalakshmi, to introduce our guest.
Good morning to all. It's a pleasure to welcome and introduce our guest for the day, Mr. K.R. Vijay founder, Max Meritorious Academy of Excellence. As a founder and CEO, he is responsible for creating virtual augmented reality applications for manufacturing, healthcare, and education sectors. He is also training students on virtual and augmented reality. His company has incubated in triple triple ITDM College, Chennai, for developing drone related projects with a grant from Tamil Nadu government innovation program. He is well versed in setting up of virtual reality lab in schools and colleges. He is an active mentor of change for adult tinkering labs. His passion is also extended to the traditional art of silambam, with which he gives training of silambam to school and college students. It's indeed a great pleasure to have you with us, sir. Over to you, Mr. Vijay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Hope you all can hear my voice. First of all, I'd like to thank Dean Dr. Mahalakshmi, madam, for giving me this opportunity to connect with the students and others on this webinar. So today we'll be seeing about how virtual and augmented reality can be used in both manufacturing as well as in the healthcare sector. So as you all know, post COVID-19, we have been following social distancing and other rules, and the world is also moving towards more towards online learning and remote collaboration and so on. So at this is the right time for including virtual or augmented reality into the process or in the system. So how it can be used? So we'll see. First, we'll see the definition of what is virtual and augmented realities. So though some of us know the definition, for the benefit of everyone, so we'll see the definition and then how it can be used in manufacturing healthcare. Then some videos about how it's done in virtual reality, and then I'll show about videos of how what we have done on the augmented reality space for some of our clients in the manufacturing sector. And finally, I'll also discuss about the tools used to create this application, and also run a small demo of how we used to create application using Unity tool. So that demo also I'll show, and we'll make this as an interactive session. So if you have any questions, please post that in the chat window. So I'll be happy to answer all your questions. So without further ado, I'll just start sharing my screen and start the session. I hope you all are able to see the screen which I'm sharing now. First, we'll discuss about what is virtual reality. So, what understand what is virtual reality is. Virtual reality, in simple term, is something which gives us an immersive experience to the users when they view that application inside a virtual reality head-mounted device. For example, once you wear a virtual reality head-mount device and view the particular application, you feel like as if you are inside that application or inside that world, virtual world altogether. So that experience only virtual reality can give. Even if you see that same type of application in your mobile or in your laptops, that immersiveness factor will not be there. So that immersiveness will be possible only with this virtual reality head mounted devices. So now we'll see what are the types of various virtual reality devices available in the market. So for example, these are some of the devices available in the market. So some of them are HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Oculus Go, Oculus Quest, and haptic gloves. So haptic gloves is not a VR device. It's just the gloves used in hands along with the hand controllers, which comes with a VR device. So though virtual reality gives an you are able to visualize and you are able to immerse yourself in that environment. With the haptic gloves, you'll be able to uh, touch and feel that environment or that object or the object is. For example, you're viewing an virtual environment, and if there are some objects in the virtual world, so how hard that object or how what's the shape of the object, so everything you can feel it using haptic gloves. So haptic gloves adds a tactile feedback also when you're viewing that application. It's not just you're visualizing, you're able to feel that as well. So this haptic gloves is more important, especially in manufacturing and in healthcare sector. So for example, in manufacturing, if an employee is getting trained on how to operate a machinery or how to operate that work on that process in virtual reality. So while giving virtual reality training, if he is wearing a haptic gloves and running that VR training, he will be able to feel about that machinery as well. So how hard or how what the shape of the machine is as well. So because of this, when he is given a task in real time, he'll be yeah, more easily he will do that task, so without much issues. So the same way in healthcare also, it has many use. So surgeons can try virtual surgery using haptic gloves with virtual reality devices. So haptic gloves has more use in especially in manufacturing and the healthcare sectors. Now coming to augmented reality. So we have seen virtual reality. Now what is we have to discuss about augmented reality. What augmented reality is? So virtual reality is like we feel like we are inside that particular environment. Augmented reality is so the 3D world is in our physical space or in the real world. So that is what is augmented reality. So it just adds a digital overlay or a 3D information in our real world or our physical space is what is called as augmented reality or augmented reality is. As you could see from the current picture in the slide. So in the current picture in the slide, a US currency bill is there, and a person is scanning the US currency bill using an augmented reality mobile app. So after he scans that a US currency bill, that 3D model or the White House 3D model is shown inside his mobile after he scans that. So the since the mobile camera is on, he is able to feel that as if that 3D model is present in his real world or the physical world. So that is the advantage of augmented reality. So whereas with virtual reality we'll be immersing ourselves in that world. With augmented reality, these 3D worlds will be interacting in our real world. So that is the difference between what is virtual or augmented realities. So now we'll see what are the key differences between both virtual and augmented reality before we deep dive into how it is used in manufacturing and healthcare sectors. Firstly, virtual reality is a totally immersive environment, as we discussed in the first slide. So once you wear a VR device and view that application, you will be completely immersing yourself in that environment. For example, if you are viewing a solar system in a VR head-mounted device, uh, you will feel like as if you are inside the solar system and seeing the planets revolving around you and so on. So that immersiveness will be there. So though that is an advantage with virtual reality, so the disadvantage with VR is senses are under control of the system and not control of the one which who is viewing. For example, once you are viewing that application, you will not be aware of what is going around you in the real world. Since you'll be completely shut off from what is happening around you, since you are immersing yourself in the virtual world. So even if someone comes around you or something is happening around you in the real world, so you'll not be aware. So that is the disadvantage also with the virtual reality. Though immersiveness is the biggest uh, selling point in virtual reality, this not interacting with the real world is a big disadvantage. So coming to augmented reality is like say it just augments or elevates your real world scene. So how it works is so the digital world you'll be able to interact with the digital world in the presence of real world itself, and the user maintains a sense of presence in the real world. So you'll be interacting with the digital world as well as you'll be uh, aware of what is going around you in the real world. So it is just like a best of both worlds. So you'll be getting best of both worlds, and you'll be able to interact with the both worlds simultaneously, and you'll be aware of what's going around in both the worlds, digital and real world as well. So that is the huge advantage of augmented reality over virtual reality. Though virtual reality is will be useful in training and for remote collaboration or for video virtual reality video conferencing, in this area only virtual reality can be more beneficial because of that immersiveness factor. And in other areas, augmented reality has more use in manufacturing, healthcare. It can be used in many places due to this factor of as since a user is maintaining a sense of presence in the real world, even if he is interacting with the digital world in augmented reality. So that's why augmented reality is more beneficial compared to virtual reality is. So now we'll see what is DOFs or degrees of freedoms. So DOFs are degrees of freedom. So there are two types of virtual reality device available in the market. One which offers 3 degrees of freedom, and the other one which offers 6 degrees of freedom. So what are those degrees of freedom? So rolling, pitching, yawing. So rolling, pitching, and yawing. So the first three images in the current slide. Rolling, pitching, and yawing only tracks your head movement. So that is the first 3 degrees of freedom. So any 3 degrees of freedom headset only tracks your head movement. So you'll be able to wave that VR application in a 360-degree view, but just only tracks your head movement and not the body movement. And coming to the rest three images in the current slide: elevating, strapping, and surging. So elevating is moving up and down, strapping is moving sideways, surging is moving front and back. So these the other 3 degrees of freedom, it tracks your body movement as well. So more the degrees of freedom, more immersive or interactive the virtual reality experience will be. So examples for 3 degrees of freedom headsets are uh, Oculus Go is an example for a 3 degrees of freedom VR device, and for 6 degrees of freedom device, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Oculus Quest are some of the examples. So, for particularly for manufacturing or healthcare setup, so we need only 6 degrees of freedom device, so with which more immersive experience can be brought, and the users also will get trained effectively than compared to 3 degrees of freedom devices. So before we talk about how it is used in the core industries, we'll talk about what is social VR or social virtual reality is. So there are three things which allows people feel close to each other. That is, one is frequency, diversity, and strength. So frequency is how frequent you are interacting with the other persons or family members, and diversity is what are the different things we do together. Strength is the strength of conversation, or the frequency and diversity is more, the strength also will be more, and these three things will make people feel close to each other. So with current technology which we have in place, the smartphones or the webinars or where we can talk with each other or share information, so the frequency factor is there. But diverse, when coming to the diversity thing, there are not much diverse things which we can do with the current technology which we have in place. So we all heard of social media, social networking, and even now we are hearing more about social distancing due to COVID-19. So due to this social distancing, people are not able to mingle around or hang around the places which they will do normally in the real world. The same thing can be replicated in virtual reality with the social virtual reality. So how it can be done is, so for example, once a person enters a virtual reality world after he has a VR head mounted device, he'll be entering a virtual reality sandbox universe where he'll be able to build his own environments and games. So play and socialize with friends as he would do normally. Everything he'll be able to do virtually as well. So the images are the 3D models given in the current picture. So there are unique 3D models, or these are the unique custom avatars for each unique users. So for example, if I am wearing the VR device and entering the virtual universe, so I'll be having my unique custom avatar, and if you are entering that universe using a VR device, you will be having your own unique custom avatar, and we both will be interacting with each other using our custom avatar. So even Facebook is coming up with a concept called the codec avatar, which is going to be exact replica of our physical self. So how we look in real world or physically, same thing can be replicated in a 3D model in virtual world as well. Even our emotions or the body language, that can also be captured in virtual reality device and shown in the virtual universe. So by this way, people's closeness will be there, and teams rapport will increase, so team collaboration will be there. So since the world is moving towards remote working and remote collaboration, so that teams rapport or the teams bonding is missing nowadays, as we could easily connect after this covid-19. Even though we are connected wirelessly through internet, we are conducting webinars and so on, but that rapport factor is missing. But that rapport closeness factor can be brought using this virtual reality, social virtual reality. So this is one area where many companies are working on, especially Facebook, Apple, and Google, to bring users to virtual world, just how they are using social media sites. Now we'll see what is how virtual reality can be used in healthcare sector, for example. So in healthcare, even before COVID-19, many many use cases and many healthcare organizations have at least used virtual reality to an extent. So these are some of the areas where virtual reality can be used in healthcare. One is on the surgery. Surgery is like virtual reality based pre-surgery training can be given to surgeons on how to operate a patient. So they are trained effectively in virtual reality, so they'll be able to perform the task in real time without much issues. So that is one area where virtual reality is used widely. And the other area is virtual reality based therapy. So for people who are recovering from their illness, so or recovering from their post-traumatic stress disorder, or recovering from their illness after the surgery, virtual reality based therapies are given. So even this has been done in UK last year itself, and they proved and they found out this virtual reality therapy is more effective to for the patients to recover from their illness quickly, rather than giving them the therapy in a normal or a traditional way. So in these two areas, virtual reality will be used more. Even we are working with one of the hospital, biggest hospital group in Tamil Nadu, for creating a CPR procedure in virtual reality. So how to the students who are learning, the medical students who are learning medicine, for providing CPR procedure in virtual reality, we are trying to come up with an application. We are working with them, and nowadays, even few days back, due to this COVID-19, doctors in UK used mixed reality, Microsoft HoloLens, which is a mixed reality device, for treating COVID-19 patients. So effectively, they have employed that, by which the number of times they visit has reduced, the using the PPE equipments has reduced, and number of doctors visiting the patient also has reduced if they are using this Microsoft HoloLens. So in these are some of the areas, and healthcare virtual reality can be used. So as moving forward, it will be used more and more, since we are will be following social distancing and remote collaboration and so on. So now we'll see how it can be used in the manufacturing sector. So we are seen in the healthcare. Now we'll see how virtual reality can be used in manufacturing. So manufacturing first is remote collaboration. It can be used. So as I was discussing about how social VR works, that it brings that team rapport or that closeness, team bonding factor. So that can be used to conduct virtual reality meetings, virtual reality based video conferencing with the teams. So for example, the normally how the meeting happens in an office environment, where they'll be brainstorming their ideas, discussing in an office setup. Same thing can be replicated using virtual reality as well. So the team members will be interacting with others using their custom avatars, which we discussed in the previous slide. So and the office, the environment also, they can choose their own office environment, how they would normally interact in the real world. So by this way, teams will collaborate more, and even though if they work remotely also, so they'll be able to do more tasks as they would do normally in the real world. So that is one area we'll be seeing more virtual reality will be used. And the other area is the training sector. So training for training an employee on virtual reality rather than giving physical training. So due to social distancing and other issues, so bringing people to train the new joiners is a big task for many organizations. So that these type of trainings can be given in virtual reality. So for example, take for example 100 employee new joiners are joining the manufacturing organization. Even though you give traditional uh, effective way of training, all 100 people will not have the same level of understanding. So some of them have some queries which they need to get answered before they are given a real task. So if you are giving a task to them, so they may not perform well. So at that point of time, if you are having virtual reality training also, people who are not understanding the concept or the process alone, they can get trained in n number of times in virtual reality without the help of others. So you may not need an external trainer or a subject matter expert to teach them. So virtual reality itself step by step guide we can give. So since it is immersive way they are learning, they will learn easier compared to traditional way of training. So in training is one huge area where virtual reality will be used, and not just in manufacturing or healthcare, in any other industries or take for example automobile, retail, and other sectors also. In training area, so virtual reality will be used more often. So now I'll share some videos before I get into augmented reality. So just give me a minute. I'll just run those videos. Welcome to the Yeah. This video is an example of how virtual reality based video conferencing work like. So this will be used in manufacturing and in other industries also to collaborate with the teams and work seamlessly. So I'll just play that video and then discuss about it. Workspace of the future. It's a place where you can be creative in ways you didn't know possible, where you can feel truly together no matter where you are in the world. A workspace that you can teleport to in a matter of seconds. Welcome to Meet in VR. Yeah, this was an example of how virtual reality meetings or virtual reality meetings would happen. So by this way, other users, team members will be interacting with their colleagues using that custom avatars, and office environment also they will be able to choose how they would work in a normal physical environments. So this is one of the area many companies are trying to incorporate for while going for a remote collaboration work from home thing. So I'll just run. We'll inject lidocaine around the wound. One video of how this is a video of how VR training can be used in healthcare for training surgeons and studying the human anatomy structure and so on. So I'll just play that video and then discuss about it. To numb the area. Good. Place 4 more staples to close up the laceration. This was an example of how VR training can be given for surgeons to operate a patient virtually and also to understand about human anatomy in detail. I'll run one more video of how it can be used in manufacturing sector in the training side. So then I move on to the presentation. Forklift safely to transport loads. Before you begin, ensure that you wear the correct PPE. Teleport to the PPE area using the indicated button on your controller. Yeah, before I play this video, I'll just explain quickly. So this is an example of how training the employees on how to operate a forklift machine. So the top left is the one the employee is getting trained in virtual reality. So he's wearing a VR device and getting trained. And the remaining screen is the one which he'll be viewing it inside the virtual reality application shown in the video. So just quickly run that video and then discuss about it. Select safety glasses, vest, hard hat, and safety boots. Now teleport to the forklift area using the indicated button on your controller. Enter the forklift using the handle and the footstep. You need to pick the load using the forklift. Press the start engine button. Yeah. So this was an example of how employees getting trained to operate a forklift in virtual reality. So as I was discussing about haptic gloves in the during the start of the session. So if an on top of this virtual reality training, if he's given haptic gloves also while he's getting trained in VR, he'll be able to feel that how that machinery looks. For example, he'll be operating on the forklift gears and other parts inside a forklift. So how hard to operate it, or the shape of that thing, he'll be able to touch and feel using haptic gloves. So adding haptic gloves will be more confident, not just visualizing in virtual reality. He'll be more confident on how that entire machinery or that process works, and he will be able to finish the task quickly when he is given a task in real time. So this way, virtual reality can be used in manufacturing and healthcare sectors. So I will just go back to the presentation. Just give me a minute. Share my presentation screen. I hope you all are able to see the presentation screen. Yeah, so far we had talked about how virtual reality can be used, and we saw some examples of how it can be used in manufacturing and healthcare sectors. Now we'll quickly discuss about the other big thing in augmented reality, which is augmented reality class or the smart class. So as you all see, as you all seeing the picture in the current slide, these are some of the augmented reality glass or smart glass from various companies from this augmented reality space. So for example, first one HoloLens 2 is from Microsoft, and third one is from Google Glass 2, and others from other startups and other companies in this augmented reality space. So with this, what this class offers, for example, as I was explaining how it can be used in healthcare. So a person can wear a Microsoft HoloLens, and he'll be able to treat the patient easily. So how it can work is if a doctor is wearing a HoloLens and in that HoloLens itself he'll get all the digital information about the patient. So what is what condition he is, or the complete report about history about the patient can be shown to him in the HoloLens screen itself. By this way he'll be able to treat that patient easily, and hands free also. He'll be not using his hands for the social distancing and other issues. So this comes hands free also. That is on the healthcare side. So coming to on the manufacturing side also, it will be used on for remote assistance and knowledge sharing. So for example, a person is working on a machinery or a process inside a manufacturing setup using a augmented reality class. So if he comes up with any issues while working on that machinery, he can fix that issue with the help of augmented reality class itself. So for example, he'll be able to discuss about that issue with a subject matter expert within his augmented reality class frame itself, and he'll be able to share the information also using his augmented reality class. In the glass frame itself, all those digital information will be given, by which he'll be able to fix that issue easily rather than depending upon other persons or people to come to fix that issue. So remote assistance and for knowledge sharing, this augmented reality class can be used. So and another benefit is it's hands free again. So you'll be getting that information in your augmented reality class, but you'll be using your both hands to fix that issue rather than checking in a mobile where you'll be using your hands to check the mobile, and then about going to fix that issue. This one comes hands free, and digitally informations will be overlaid in real time as well. So these ways in enterprises and in manufacturing sectors, augmented reality class can be used. So we have seen virtual reality how it can be used in the training sector. Coming to augmented reality class, it will be used more on the increasing the production or bringing the cost of operations of a company less. So in these areas, augmented reality glasses will be widely used. And coming on to the consumers or the day-to-day users side, for our daily operations, we can use augmented reality glass. So for example, to check the time, or for GPS navigation, or play music, so or take picture, or these are some of the activities which we do using smartphones, can be done using augmented reality glass itself. So the best part is, as I was mentioning about the definition of augmented reality, the best part is it is like, though you are getting the digital information in your augmented reality class, you'll be aware of what is going around in your real world as well. So it will not be distracting your real world view also. That is one of the biggest advantage with augmented reality. And many companies like from even Apple is trying to come up with augmented reality class for enterprises edition, and Google Glass is already there. So even though Google Glass was introduced way back in 2013, at that time it was not a big hit due to technological constraints and other factors. Now they have again introduced Google Glass for the enterprise side, and Microsoft HoloLens is there, which is for again for the enterprise and the manufacturing and healthcare side. And many other startups are also working on this augmented reality glass, so which is like best of both worlds, as I was explaining before. And we'll see the quickly the benefits of virtual or augmented reality before I get into the videos of augmented reality. One is cost savings. So cost savings will be more. So if you are giving the training in virtual reality, employees and new joiners can train a number of times using virtual reality without depending upon others. So cost savings is there, and increase security. So it helps detect and eliminate threats, and better time to market. So if you are using virtual or augmented reality at the prototype or the production design stage, so development time will be less, and the product also will come up on time. For example, if a company is going to build a new generation car, just for an example, so that the entire car model can be brought up in virtual or augmented reality at the prototype stage, and how that end product is going to look like, we can bring that in virtual or augmented reality, wherein all the stakeholders, designers, and developers can brainstorm their ideas, and if there are any issues, they can get that rectified at the prototype or at the design stage, which will not affect the development cycle. So by this way, better time to market, they'll be able to bring their products. Bosch is already working on augmented reality for prototyping at the production design stage, wherein they use it while developing a new product. And the lastly, it prevents accidents and disruptions. So employees who get trained in virtual or augmented reality along with traditional training is less likely to cause errors compared to employees who get trained only in a traditional way of get trained in a traditional way. So these are some of the benefits of using virtual or augmented reality in manufacturing and healthcare, not just manufacturing healthcare, but any industries for that matter. So now we will see how augmented reality can be combined with Internet of Things, AI, or with cloud computing. So far I have discussed about virtual and augmented reality as a standalone technology, how it can be, what ways it can be used in manufacturing and healthcare. But the augmented reality's full potential can be unleashed only when augmented reality is combined with other technologies like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, or with cloud computing. Only if you combine this and get real-time data and show it in augmented reality, it will be more useful for manufacturing, healthcare, or any industries for that matter. So how it will work is, so for example, as you could see from the current picture in the slide, a person is inside a warehouse. He is just scanning the warehouse using his augmented reality application in the tablet. After he scans the warehouse, some real-time information is shown in his augmented reality application. For example, 5 item remaining is there, and some color-coded values, and some arrow is shown. So this 5 item remaining could be the number of items remaining in that particular compartment or a shelf. By knowing this, the employee can fill that particular section alone. So rather than if he is doing it manually, he need to check everything manually, which is a time consuming thing, and it'll also it's a tedious process as well. But by bringing the real time data and showing it in augmented reality, he'll be able to do more tasks in less time. But also the process also is more seamless rather than being a monotonous way of checking everything manually. So many, especially manufacturing industry and healthcare, is trying to integrate augmented reality with Internet of Things and AI to get the real-time data and displaying it in AR. So we'll be getting the real-time data from IoT and show using augmented reality as a front end. So just how we develop websites, we use HTML as a front end, and the data which is shown or whatever the backend, as you'll be showing that displaying that in the as a front end in a web page. The same thing also holds true in augmented reality as well. Here we are getting the real-time data instead of the old data. So by this way, more remote collaboration is possible. So especially manufacturing industry is not able to adapt to work from home or remote collaboration, so due to their process, or due to that how the industry operates. So to an extent education, or to an extent IT industry would survive by working from home, or remote learning or online learning. But for manufacturing sector, this remote collaboration or work from home is really difficult, because they operate with more machineries more and than with other things, heavy machineries. So for them, this when you're combining augmented reality with IoT and showing the real-time data remotely, it will be more beneficial for them to perform the task at the comfort of their home itself. So by this way, it will be used more. And yeah, I'll just talk about this slide before I get into the videos and the demo of the Unity tool. Yeah, these are some of the development tools with which we'll be creating all those applications which we create in virtual and augmented realities. So some of those tools are Unity, Unreal. Unity and Unreal are game engines used for creating VR and AR apps. Euphoria and Wikitude are for creating marker based augmented reality apps. So as I was explaining about what is augmented reality, that US currency bill example which I shown, after it scans that US currency bill alone, that particular application open. So that image target only for that particular image alone it works. So those image target can be given using Euphoria and Wikitude, and then AR Core and AR Kit. So AR Core and AR Kits are SDKs for Android and iOS. Just how we create mobile applications For Android and iOS separately, we create augmented reality applications for Android using AR Core, and for AR apps for iOS using ARKit SDK. So with these tools, we can create many virtual and augmented reality applications. Of course, there are many other tools. These are the popular tools used. So I'll just run some videos about what we have done on this augmented reality space. So what we have done for some of our manufacturing clients. So I'll just run that video and then discuss about it. Just give me. Yeah. This is an example of we have done for some of one of our manufacturing clients, and it's a heavy vehicle engine. So wherein the people who work on that engine, the different parts, they'll be able to see that in detail using augmented reality. So we have done this using Unity and the AR Core for Android mobile and Android tablet. So if they click on some of the options, just for example, explode. So if you click on explode button, so the different parts will get exploded, and they'll be able to understand about each part in detail in augmented reality. So I'll just run this video and then discuss about it. Yeah, this was an example of a small AI project which we did for a client. I will run one more video, similar kind of product which we done for a client. Just take few seconds to. So this one is also the same augmented reality application. So wherein the injector things, different components we have shown in augmented reality. So I'll just play that. Yes, all those different parts in that injector assembly, everything is shown in augmented reality way. As you all see that background, since the background camera is on, so even though that application is running inside the mobile or a tablet, the user will feel like as if that entire operation or that entire application is happening in real time. So that is the advantage of augmented reality. So what are the different parts in it? We'll be able to split up and see. So by this way, the user will be able to understand everything easily rather than giving everything in a technical documentation, which is tedious and time consuming for them to understand as well. Yeah, now I'll run one more video what we have done on healthcare. It's a small digestive system application we have done in augmented reality. I'll just run that video and then discuss about it. After food enters your stomach, the stomach muscles mix the food and liquid with digestive juices. The stomach slowly empties its contents, called drying, into. Yeah, that was an example of what we eat and small application on the healthcare side. So just give me a minute. I'll check if any other. Yeah. Now I'll just quickly run the video of how we are comparing, getting real-time data and showing it in augmented reality. So, yeah. So this is a proof of concept we have done. So it's not an project we have done. So just a proof of concept we have done for a client. So I'll just run that video and then discuss about how it is done. Just give me a minute. It takes. Yeah. Yeah, I think you are already able to see now. So whatever the blue lines or the blue text shown inside that video is the real time the data which we are pulling and showing it in augmented reality. So how we done is, so for that particular image, that machinery alone, so once user scans that particular image or the image of that machinery, augmented reality application will work. So for example, we can show that how what that real machinery is, where it is working, that can be shown in augmented reality on top of the real time data also, whatever how many objects came out of that machinery, or how what is the temperature, or some real data also is shown in that blue text, or that dark blue text which I have displayed in that video. So this is that real-time data we are collecting as storing as a JSON value. That JSON value we are storing it in the cloud environment. From there we are pulling it and showing it inside an augmented reality application. So this will be used to very much useful for manufacturing industries for remote collaboration. So after covid-19, many manufacturing industries are trying to incorporate augmented reality into the practice. One way is using augmented reality class, which I was discussing earlier, and the other one is creating augmented reality application in combination with IoT and AI, cloud computing, and so on. So now I'll share the Unity application and I'll just show how we do some sample projects on it. Just give me a minute. I'll share that application and discuss about it. I hope I just started sharing the Unity tool, which we use to create VR and AR applications. I hope you all are able to see. If not, please wait for a while. It will take few seconds to load. Just, after you are able to see, I'll just yeah. I think now you are all are able to see that Unity application which I'm sharing now. So this is the tool which we use to create VR and AR applications for our clients. So what we do is first we import those 3D models for whatever application we are going to develop. That 3D models we import and put it in this tool. Then programming part we do it in C Sharp using Visual Studio as the editor. So as you all saw in the previous videos, some buttons like explode, assemble, zoom in, zoom out, rotate. So for these buttons, we'll be adding some script. So C sharp scripts will be adding, and that also will be attaching it to this Unity tool. And euphoria also, that euphoria image target which I was mentioning about the development tools, euphoria also we can add for showing image target. So for example, for the particular image alone this application should work. So something like that we can give. So in this example, so what I have done is, so I have imported a 3D model of a car, and the image target I have given my company logo as the image target. So only if I after I run that application, only when I show that particular image target, which is my company logo, then only that application will be visible. So for any other image, it will not be visible. So I'll just show how that works. So I just started running that application. It'll just take a while. So once that starts, I'll just show that as well. Just give me. Yeah, just loading. So once it is visible, I'll just show that. Many are asking questions. I definitely answer all those questions after we finish this session in the next few minutes. It's taking some time to load this. It is still loading, so probably meanwhile I can answer few questions. Still, the Unity application gets loaded. So, question from Pungodi: what's the difference between virtual reality and AI? Virtual reality is like you'll be inside that particular application, so particular 3D world or the 3D application. And AI is like the machine learning or the data which we are consuming or see. So rather than human does, we are making the machine to manipulate or show the data. So that is AI. So both are two different streams. So both virtual reality and AI. So see if there are any other questions. Till it gets load, I'll probably answer the questions in the best interest of everyone's time. Yeah, please post your questions if you have any. Yeah, from Srividya, which type of software used to real-time data? So we use Unity only, which I'm sharing and showing. So Unity tool only we use, and the real-time data, the JSON values around, we'll be adding that in the tool and populating it along with that augmented application which we are displaying it. A question from Uday Kumar: how to vary 9D technology with virtual reality technology? What are the difference between? And this Birla Planetarium technology is same as VR. So this 9D or 7D is nothing but augmented reality only. They are telling us 9D or 7D technology which we have here about. So as you have seen some videos of where people will be interacting with the digital objects. You would have seen some 7D or 9D videos that are basically augmented reality video application only. They are capturing it and showing it as 7D. How that works is augmented reality application will be shown in the screen, and on the opposite side, using a camera, our whole thing will be captured. So then they will be joining both whatever we are viewing, and ourselves also they'll be joining and showing it as a single thing. So once we view it, we'll feel like as if we are interacting with the digital object. So this is a simple trick in augmented reality only they are doing. But the Birla Planetarium technology is same as VR. So I have not experienced a Birla Planetarium, sir. So I'm not able to answer that question on Birla Planetarium. But it is not the same as VR. So that's what I can say. But I'm not sure what technology they have in Birla Planetarium. So I'll just quickly show before how that 9D or the mixed reality would look like. Just share that. sharing an image now. So of that 70 or the 90, the 90 thing which Mr. Uday Kumar was mentioning. Just a minute, it will take few seconds to go. Question from Ganesh Kumar. Which are the other environment we are using AR other than gaming platform? Yeah, but, before I answer the question, I'll just talk about this image. So this image which you are seeing now is the 70 or the 90 thing which you would seen in YouTube. So you could see there are 3D object or digital image of a chimpanzee, and I'm also it looks like I'm interacting with that virtual animal. So, but in reality, it's just the augmented reality application. We are capturing our own video and adding that and showing it in augmented reality. So this is what they are telling us 70 or a 90 technology, but in reality it's just an augmented reality thing. And, yeah. Back to Ganesh Kumar question, what are the other environments we are using AR other than gaming platforms? So though AR, VR or AR has started with gaming, other environments like healthcare, manufacturing, education, so especially in education sector, for creating virtual and augmented reality application to make the students understand the concept better. So these ways AR and VR is used, not just gaming. Every industry it has its use case. So before COVID-19, AR or VR was a good to have future for many industries. Due to this COVID-19, we are following social distancing, online learning, work from home. This has made VR or AR as a good, from a good to have to a must to have future. So every industry it is being used. Connection. So now other question from Praveen Kumar. What are the career opportunities of AR and VR? Two ways you can work. One is if you have good designing skills, you can work as for creating 3D models and 3D environments, which is the first thing for creating better VR or AR apps. And the other thing is for programming knowledge, you can work on the programming side for creating these apps. So there are opportunities for both the designers as well as for programmers as well in every field, so free healthcare, manufacturing, and even every IT organization. Just how they have different development teams in MNCs. Now they are having virtual reality team also for creating virtual reality and AR augmented reality applications for our various clients. So check if there are any other questions. So still that Unity application is loading, so it's a bit slow since that file size is huge. Yeah, I think still the application is low. Yeah, it's started. Let me know if you are able to see that Unity screen. So I just the application is finished loading. So start showing that the demo application which I have done. So once you are able to see the Unity screen. If you're all able to see, because I'm able to see in the screen, so I'm just showing my company logo. After I show that company logo, which I set as an image target, that 3D model which I have programmed in Unity appear. So you can see it in the screen. So even I have added a button also. So rotate function I have added. So once I click the button, it just rotates around. So this also I have added using She Script. But if I take that particular image, so the thing will go off. So can anyone just comment in YouTube whether you are able to see that demo application which I'm showing in the Unity screen? So because I'm not sure whether you all are able to see that. Yes, sir. I'll just share it again. Just give me. Just, yeah. I'm sharing it again. So just please wait for 1 or 2 minutes. So, and then I'll just discuss again. So after you are able to see this Unity screen, please confirm because I have started sharing it. Yeah, I think you are able to see. So I just started running my screen, Unity thing. So now I am just showing my company logo and everything. So which I set as a image target. So now you are able to see that particular 3D model which is visible in the screen. So since I set image target as my company logo only for this particular image alone, that application works. So that 3D model of the car appears. So even if I just move around the image, I'll be able to see everything in detail as well. And I've also given a button function also to for the rotate functionality. So if I just click on the function also, that button, so I'll be able to rotate and see the application which I have developed. So this is used, we have used Euphoria and Unity tool for showing this. So if you want to learn about creating applications and virtual or augmented reality, you can use these tools which I was talking about, Unity and Euphoria, to learn more. Just give me a minute. Yeah, it almost come to end of the session. So if you have any other questions, so please feel free to ask. So I'll just answer them for 1 or 2 minutes before I hand over the session to pay the organizers. I think there are no more questions and everything. So thank you very much. Yeah, there is question. Which type of software used to real-time data? So software we use Unity, and for getting real-time data, we use that JSON values. So we stored it in cloud environment. That we are integrating and showing it in Unity. So we just use mostly we use Unity tool only for getting it for real-time data, JSON or other values which we get it from IoT sensors that will be displaying it in augmented reality or virtual reality. I think I have answered all your questions. So thank you very much for patiently listening and asking some good questions. So another question from Vaishali. Which one is better for augmented reality? So which one is better? Virtual or augmented reality means augmented reality has more scope and more possibilities are can be done using augmented reality rather than virtual reality. So though virtual reality has good scope in training and remote collaboration, which I discussed earlier. Other in all other areas, augmented reality will be only widely used. So let it be creating augmented reality application, or let it be combining AR with other technologies like IoT, or let it be using augmented reality glasses in manufacturing and healthcare. So in these areas, only augmented reality will be used than virtual reality.
Thank you, Vijay sir, for the
Yeah, thank you,
enlightened
madam.
presentation and for visualizing session. The videos are really interesting. The participants will be very clear about AR VR and how it is used for healthcare sectors and VR in manufacturing also. You gave solutions for the questions raised from the audience. I hope they are clear now. A deep sense of appreciation to all the participants registered for this webinar. I hope this webinar would be definitely be useful to all. Kindly fill the feedback form which is available in the scrolling as well as in the description box to get your e-certificate. I wish to express my gratitude to our management, principal, vice principal, deans and HODs of various departments, faculty friends, students and Infonet team for providing encouragement and support. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thanks all. Bye.